Well, back to our big story tonight. Residents are voting in primary runoff races in Alabama today. One of the major races we're following is the battle for Tommy Tuberville's U.S. Senate seat. As you likely know, Tuberville is not in this race since he's running for governor. The Democratic and Republican nominees in the Senate race will be decided today. On the Republican ballot, Barry Moore has experience in Washington. He's a third-term congressman representing the state's 1st congressional district. Former Navy SEAL Jared Hudson owns a security and weapons trainings company. He's also the founder of a nonprofit aimed at combating human trafficking. Moore got about 39% of the vote in May compared to Hudson's 26% more or less. Our Zoe Blair live in Hoover to cover the U.S. Senate Republican runoff. She's with the Hudson campaign at Brock's Gap Brewing Company. Zoe.
Yeah, Guy, we are still waiting for Jared Hudson to arrive. We're told he's going to be here about 7 o'clock when those polls close. He voted in Gardendale earlier today, and Barry Moore voted in his hometown of Enterprise. This is a very heated race. We were here with the Hudson campaign during the original May 19th election, and it took quite a while for those results to come in. They've told me they're hoping that those results come in a little bit faster this evening. Now, I've spoken to both candidates as they've been on the campaign trail over the past couple of weeks. Moore has been very vocal about his service in Washington, about how he is already there. He feels he knows what he needs to do to make things happen. And Jared Hudson has been very outspoken about his military service. It's on all of his campaign signs. Navy SEAL, one of his biggest slogans for this campaign is that he feels that they should send a warrior to Washington. Both have also been very outspoken about their faith. Now, Barry Moore has been endorsed by President Donald Trump. If he loses tonight, then he will be the first person in this election cycle to have been endorsed by Trump and not win their election. We're going to stay here as we wait for those results to come in and make sure to keep you updated when we do. For now, live in Hoover, Zoe Blair, WVTM 13.
All right, thanks, Zoe. We now want to take a look at the two candidates that are hoping to capture the U.S. Senate Democratic nomination. Dakari Lariat is a former corporate executive, aromatherapy pet care entrepreneur, and a policing reform advocate. He is competing against attorney and former Midfield Municipal Court Judge Everett West. West got the most votes in May at 40%, but that wasn't enough for him to win. Lariat got about 29% of the votes there. And our Kayla Davis is live in Birmingham. She's covering this U.S. Senate Democratic runoff, and she's with Lariat at the campaign at Pop Bar.
Hey Carla, we've now moved inside of Pop Bar and the staff is prepping to host Dakari and his family and friends in just under an hour now. And it's going to be really interesting watching the votes come in tonight because just like you said, it was a very close race last time around a month ago with Everett getting 40% of the vote and Dakari getting 29%. Now, West ran strongest in Mobile County and much of South Alabama, while Lariat performed well in North Alabama like Madison County. And here in Jefferson County, Everett West had an 11-point advantage over Lariat. So Larry tells me he spent the last few weeks traveling the state, focused on areas that lean towards West, making calls and educating voters with hopes of flipping more votes this time around. So we'll be awaiting Dakari's arrival shortly. He tells me that they're going to have a live performance, so things will get pretty exciting around here as the night continues on. And as for Everett, he'll be across town at the Kappa Alpha Psi building in Lakeview. But for now, I'm live in downtown Birmingham. Kayla Davis, WVTM 13.
All right, thanks, Kayla. And there is a runoff for the Republican nomination in the race for lieutenant governor.
Former Alabama Republican Party Chairman John Wall facing Alabama's Secretary of State Wes Allen.
Now, in the primary last month, Wall got about 40% of the vote, while Allen got about 38%. Our Michael Higdon is live in Tanner to cover the Republican runoff for lieutenant governor.
She's with the Wall campaign at Pryor Field Airport.
Hey guys, yeah, we're about a half hour away from this watch party getting underway, and a lot of progress has been made since we last checked in. Take a look. Take a look at this spread. All the food officially laid out. They have the American flag officially hanging. Wall himself got here a little more than an hour ago, and he says he's excited about today. He really wants to continue the same message of freedom, liberty, and standing for the people of Alabama, really putting them first again. Now, voter turnout today was a big concern really for everyone. Wall says he's hearing only about 10% of voters actually made it to the polls today. So he's encouraging everyone who hasn't already voted to get out to the polls. There's still some time left. As you can see, he's greeting some friends, family, and supporters. He also is saying thank you to everyone who did already turn out to vote. He says it's really such an important process, part of the process of the democratic process here. So again, watch party kicking off in about a half hour. We'll be here live and bring that to you. Reporting live, I'm Michael Higdon, WVTM 13.
Michael, thanks. The race for Alabama Attorney General will likely be decided tonight. Our state has not had a Democratic AG since the 90s, and the next AG will not be current AG Steve Marshall. Marshall has reached the term limit for serving as the state's top prosecutor. You're taking a live look at Saw's Juke Joint Barbecue in Birmingham. That's where Catherine Robertson is holding her watch party. She's one of the candidates in the Republican runoff for Alabama AG. Robertson is the current chief of counsel to Attorney General Marshall. She campaigned with Trump-aligned policies. She's facing former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Jay Mitchell. Mitchell has focused on supporting law enforcement and legal credentials. In the May primary, Robertson got about 41% of the vote, Mitchell 34%. We'll keep our eyes on this race for you tonight as live results come into the newsroom.
And whoever wins in the Democratic runoff for the U.S. House District 5 in North Alabama will go up against the incumbent in the general election. Dale Strong was uncontested on the Republican side. Andrew Snead entered the race as a leader but did not reach a majority of the vote to avoid that runoff. He received 42% of the vote. His opponent, Candace DeVillay, got 36%. And when the polls close tonight, our team will be bringing you all of the live results as those votes are coming in. So don't miss out on knowing what's happening in your community. You can download our free app as well as turn on your alerts, and you'll get those notifications. They'll be sent straight to your phone. That's when the races are called. You can also track the races online with our live results coverage all night long.